Hi, this is Lisa Meridian from Gloriant Designs, and I'm going to do a quick video on all the supplies that you need to do an acrylic dirty pour. Sometimes it gets overwhelming for newbies of all the things that you need, so I'll just do a quick little tutorial on all the things that you need. So while you're out shopping, you can get everything or go look around your house. And I'll also put the list on the link. So the first thing you need to do is you need to cover everything. You need to cover everything that you have with plastic. So you can go to the dollar store or the hardware store and get some plastic. You can get rolls of plastic. They also make these sheets that come with tape at the hardware store. Those are great. And you definitely need plastic gloves. Your hands take a lot of beating with all the chemicals. So always wear plastic gloves. I also like to wear an apron. It used to be for the kitchen, but now I usually wear an apron because I just get covered with paint. So after I cover everything with plastic, the next thing that I do is I gesso my canvases. It's always good to, even if they come gessoed, it's always good to put another coat on it, especially if you're using inexpensive ones. I really suggest for beginners to use just the inexpensive flat ones like this. When you're learning to pour and managing the paint, it's much easier to just use a flat one to start with. And then as you get the technique down, then you can use the ones with the sides. When I start, I like to take a few tacks and hammer a few tacks in so you can let it pour over the sides. You'll also going to need a little knife to kind of fix the edges, or you can use a paintbrush. But I like to start, when I first started pouring, I often used these 8x10s. I could get them inexpensively, or these 11x14 flat canvases. I also like to buy these trays at the dollar store to pour in because it collects everything, and then when I finish my pouring I can just take it and move it over and keep all the paint contained. And then sometimes I collect the paint on the bottom and do other things with it, which I can talk about in another video. So after I gesso, then I will mix my paint. You will need a bunch of small, like 3-ounce cups, and then you'll need a big cup, or a couple of them if you're going to do a big pour. When I do a large pour, like a 16x20, I will use a bigger cup like that. And then you're going to need some water. I also put some water in a little squeeze bottle to try to get a better flow out of it and not use too much of it. And then you're going to need Floetrol, and I use the flood version. You can get that at your hardware store in the paint section. And then you're going to need a pouring medium. I personally like to use Elmer's Glue All mixed with water. I think it works fine. Or you can use a more expensive pouring medium like the Liquitex. You can buy that online or at a art supply store. And then you're going to need silicone. My favorite silicone is this Blaster silicone. This is the heavy duty strength. I like this one a lot. I've used several, and ones like this, the little squirt bottles, that didn't seem to work as well and get good cells out of it. The next thing you're going to need is a small micro torch. You can get that at a hardware store. Some cooking stores have them as well. And don't forget the butane that goes with it. If you're not ready for something like that, you can always start with a small hair dryer. I ruined mine by getting paint all over it. This was my travel one. And you can have that on a low setting. That does work for making your cells pop. So let's talk about paint. Then you're going to need your paint. I really do suggest when you're first starting out, I think it's okay to use the cheaper paints like Craft Smart or apple barrel, any of those craft paints. You know, while you're working on your techniques and color combinations, I think it's okay to start with that. You know, when you get a little better, you can, you know, graduate to some more expensive paints like the Liquitex. I really do like the Premier. Amsterdam is very similar as well. My favorite being Winsor & Newton, of course, because it's the most expensive. And you'll get a much more nicer sheen with those. You will need to add a lot more water and have to work with the consistency a lot more than the thinner paints. So yeah, you'll need a palette knife and a brush to help fix your edges. And then after your paintings dry for a few days, you're going to want to varnish them. So sometimes you don't want a glossy finish. If you don't, I suggest something like this, a Duraclear satin varnish. I usually put 2 to 3 coats on. Or if you want a high gloss, you can use this poly by Minwax. There's several acrylic brands out there that are also good. And then if you're going to do any kind of swiping technique, you're going to need some kind of thick piece of paper or like this to swipe with, or you can use an acrylic sheet like this. My favorite thing is this kitchen tool. Actually, I got it at the dollar store to swipe with. It's really nice. It's dirty, but it washes up pretty nice. So that is just a little tutorial on all the supplies that you're going to need to start dirty pouring. And I can't stress enough, cover everything with plastic because things drip and get over. Sometimes I have a nice wood floor where I do my painting, and I've washed this floor many times with paint. So sometimes if you have a really nice floor, I suggest just putting an old rug in front of where you paint just to cover the surface. So I hope that helps. I'll be posting more videos, and happy painting. Enjoy the process.